Hello, and we begin with big news in Oregon politics. Secretary of State Shemia Fagan is resigning. Her announcement today comes amid controversy surrounding a consulting side job she took with a cannabis company. Thank you for joining us. I'm Laurel Porter.
And I'm David Molko. It is a stunning fall for the number 2 elected official in the state in less than a week since this news first broke, with Fagan now making it official. She will step down as of next Monday. Let's get right to Evan Watson. Evan, in the last 24 hours since her apology, it seems like she quickly lost support, even from those in her own party.
That's right. Well, Fagan was working as a paid consultant for the owners of a marijuana dispensary chain while her office was conducting a state audit on cannabis regulation. In a statement today, she said it's clear her actions became a distraction. At first, Oregon Secretary of State Shemia Fagan apologized, saying she used poor judgment and would end her contract with marijuana dispensary chain Lamoda.
I am sorry for harming the trust that I and so many others have worked so hard to build.
Now, just a day later, Fagan says she will resign her position. She plans to step down on May 8th. KGW political analyst Betsy Johnson says Fagan made the right and honorable choice.
She had to have looked at the optics of this at some point in time and come to the conclusion you cannot rebuild trust from a breach of this magnitude.
Fagan's resignation follows criticism of ethical concerns over an outside consulting job tied to Lamoda. The dispensary and associated businesses have failed to pay millions of dollars in taxes while still making donations to Fagan and others. Fagan said she signed the consulting contract to provide for herself and her 2 children, saying her $77,000 a year salary as Secretary of State didn't cut it.
To put it bluntly, my Secretary of State salary alone is not enough for me to make ends meet.
Johnson says that decision lacked integrity.
It is inconceivable to me that somewhere a light didn't go on to say, while she believes she followed the letter of the law, the optics of this were so bad. She knew what the salary was of the Secretary of State before she ran.
In a statement Tuesday, Fagan said protecting Oregon's democracy and ensuring faith in our elected leaders is why she ran for office, and it's also why she's choosing to resign. Governor Tina Kotek said she supports Fagan's decision to resign and believes this will help restore Oregonians' trust in their government.
It's incumbent on every single elected person, regardless of what office they hold, to deliver on that expectation of trust for Oregonians. And when that delivery fails, there needs to be some atonement.
Oregon Republicans had called for Fagan's resignation leading up to today. A group of Democratic leaders in state government also said today that Fagan's breach of trust became too wide for her to bridge.
Well, Evan, it's interesting here that whoever takes over for Fagan won't be second in line for the governor.
Yeah, Governor Kotek is required to appoint a Democrat to this position, but that person will be skipped if Kotek were to leave office early. Treasurer Tobias Reed is now next in line until the 2024 November general election.
All right, that's interesting. And with that in mind, I'm sure there's both big picture strategy and politics, as we know, at play here. So any sense of who the governor's going to pick?
Well, David, it's not clear at this point, but OPB politics reporter Dirk Vanderhart explained on Twitter why it likely won't be someone in the Senate. See, there are 30 members in the Senate and 17 are Democrats. Right now, Democratic Senator Chris Gorsuch is on leave for health reasons. So if Governor Kotek appointed someone from the Senate, it would result in a deadlocked 15-15 Senate. So unlikely there.
It's going to be fascinating to watch this play out. Evan Watson, appreciate your reporting this evening. Meanwhile, Governor Kotek is putting the brakes on I-205 tolling until 2026. She's also creating a brand new subcommittee to oversee ODOT plans amidst widespread opposition to tolling in communities that said they weren't being heard. The goal now to lessen the negative impacts, especially on neighborhoods that could be especially vulnerable. You may remember the House also introduced a bill last week to delay tolling for at least 2 years.
Oregon Democrats passed a controversial abortion bill through the House last night, and it will now go to the Senate. The most controversial part pertains to minors. Under this bill, anyone would be able to get an abortion regardless of their age, and in certain cases, they wouldn't have to get parental consent. The bill also requires qualifying schools to provide students with emergency contraception and medication abortion, among other provisions. Republicans oppose the bill and are taking it to court. Democrats say it makes Oregon one of the most protective states in the nation for abortion rights.
In Washington, Attorney General Bob Ferguson has launched an exploratory campaign for governor. This comes a day after Governor Jay Inslee announced he would not run for a fourth term in 2024. The move allows Ferguson, a Democrat, to collect political donations without formally announcing his candidacy. He has held the AG position there for just over a decade. What is a downtown Portland spot that's developed a reputation as a notorious open-air drug market. And now police patrolling in the area around Southwest 4th and Washington have arrested a man they say tried to drive away from them and then crashed. Bicycle officers say they saw the suspect, Zach Hanley, doing drugs near Southwest 2nd and Harvey Milk, and they tried to write him a ticket. They say he then quickly sped off, hit another car, and rolled over at 4th and Washington. Hanley ran, police say, but they caught up. The suspect was treated at the hospital and now faces a long list of charges.
In Sherwood, police are looking for the people behind a vandalism spree from this weekend. It happened overnight last Friday into Saturday morning. Police say several people were randomly smashing car windows with baseball bats and keying cars. This happened in several spots, including the Sunfield Lakes apartment complex, neighborhoods along Roy Rogers Road, and in a construction zone. The damage is estimated to be at least several $1,000s. Anyone who may know who the suspects are should contact Sherwood Police.
Well, what do potholes and artificial intelligence have in common? No, ChatGPT cannot on its own fill up those craters in the pavement that leave a lot of drivers cursing. Instead, Oregon City is using AI in a first-of-its-kind program in the state to get smarter about fixing that small source of suffering. Daisy Caballero shows us how.
We're excited to see what it can do because it's still fairly new.
Artificial intelligence has taken the world by storm and is now helping Oregon City Public Works locate and map out potholes while driving this. It's a street sweeper with a special camera mounted up front. They're calling it the City Rover.
It's really great because it helps us package all that information up into a form that the crews can then take.
City Rover works like a dash camera and actively scans the road for potholes. It also gives crews every detail needed to patch up the hole.
The Rover device gives you the address, the street address of the location of the pothole, gives you a picture, the date and time that it was taken, and then a street view, Google Maps street view of whereabouts it is, and even a QR code so that you can scan it on your phone. It can tell you exactly where that picture was taken.
Now, all the pothole data the City Rover collects gets uploaded to the cloud and then can be viewed right here, which then better helps Public Works keep track of the potholes within their jurisdiction.
Lewis says crews often have 50 to 100 potholes to patch in a day. But thanks to City Rover, they can create more efficient routes to hit more in a given day.
I'm surprised by this technology, how accurate it is.
Shane Husband drives with the City Rover once in a while and believes this device helps crews work smarter, not harder.
I see potholes, every day in the city, and there are many that we don't see because we don't drive every road every day. The only other way we find out about them is if the public calls them in and lets us know. And so if they don't call them in and we don't see them in our normal day-to-day work, then it's nice to know that this camera is picking them up to put them on our list.
Oregon City Public Works is currently testing out the Rover, but are hoping to permanently adopt the new technology. Reporting in Oregon City, Daisy Caballero, KGW News.